group of men with a giant winged beast. The creature is winged, but it's not really a bird.
And a tricky rescue, 15-year-old draft horses stuck right in that frozen lake.
There's no way we're going to pick them up, put them on the ice, and slide them out in the boat.
As a struggling deer trapped in the mud for hours was pulled to safety.
That we had from work, and looked over and we could see some sort of animal stuck in the mud.
Firefighters risked their lives to rescue that animal. It was trapped in a frozen river in Canada.
Nature's giants are majestic and strong, but sometimes even they find themselves in peril. And at those moments, extraordinary souls rise to risk their lives, pulling out predators stuck in wells or freeing hefty mammals from mud traps. Today, we will delve into implausible animal rescues that, if not filmed, no one would believe had happened.
Got her. I got you.
A group of farmers in Russia were heading home when they spotted a whole herd of 11 female horses stranded in an icy river in the Bakhskara region. The men knew straight away that they needed to do something, so they all teamed up and thought of a brilliant plan to save the horses. One of them brought his machine to the site, while others started wrapping a rope around each animal, one at a time. While some of the horses were being pulled out with the help of the machine, others decided to try bringing them to safety on their own. The horses were already exhausted at this point and let the men do their work. Within a few hours, all 11 of them got to safety and made their way home. Elephant in well. These villagers had been experiencing several elephant visits in their area, and on one particular day, they found one stuck in a deep well. There was obviously no way for the animal to make it out on its own, and as much as the people wanted to help it, they did not have the proper equipment needed to rescue the elephant. At last, they all came up with a brilliant idea to use the resources they had at hand. The villagers started filling the well with additional water so that it could float to the surface, and the elephant seemed to understand their plan as it did not panic at all. Once it got near the mouth of the well, they brought a bulldozer and broke the edges to make an easier way out for the elephant. And once it got to the right spot, the animal walked out, safe and sound. Buck rescued from mud.
Come on, bud. Come on. Come on.
This buck was lucky to be spotted by a pair of kind-hearted men who were willing to put in all their efforts to save another life. The incident happened in Pennsylvania when some friends found the deer stuck in thick mud, and it could barely move on its own. They knew that waiting for help to arrive might get a bit too late for the buck, so they decided to bring it to safety by themselves. At the moment, they had only a piece of rope at hand, so they made a loop, tied it to the antlers, and then tried to get it out with all their force.
There you go. That's it. Come on.
But they had to be careful while applying force. After hours of hard work and determination, they were finally able to get the buck to land from where it ran towards its home. Leopard from well. On another instance, a lost leopard cub accidentally got stuck into a 30-foot well in India while searching for water, and it had no idea on how to get back to its mother. Luckily, some kind-hearted Samaritans decided to take matters into their own hands and stepped in to help. They brought some professional help and started their mission by lowering a metal box to safely get the animal out. Once the leopard stepped in, they instantly got it out and took it to a facility for some medical inspection. From there on, it was finally ready to step back into a wild world. So the rescuers placed the metal box in a safe area where the mother came to receive the cub, and just as the door was lifted, the family was complete again. elephant rescue. Locals in Sri Lanka spotted this elephant roaming in a canal all alone, and clearly it was stuck in the area. They called for some proper help, and all of these kind-hearted men gathered around to save the life of the animal. Luckily, they worked strategically as they built a custom ladder made of tires, ropes, and wood for the elephant to walk out. And just as they lowered into the canal, it instantly knew this was the perfect escape to the wildlife. At first, the elephant struggled a bit, and then as it held the tires and wooden planks with the trunk and strong feet, it had everything figured out. From there on, it was a sweet walk back home for this elephant. Sheep stuck in snow.
This one alive?
In 2018, the extreme cold temperatures in Cumbria, England brought challenges for farmers and their livestock, as a lot of sheep had gone missing. But the farmers were not ready to give up on them yet. Their combined efforts with the rescue team resulted in success when they finally found a whole herd from one place just at the right time.
So is it still alive?
It's still alive, but it's in a bad way, yeah. That wouldn't live much longer, wouldn't that?
Once they were out, the saviors even provided the sheep with some encouraging lunch to celebrate their survival.
Spread the feed out on the ground for them.
Although they were a bit tired, they still managed to walk out on their own, and the whole flock was together again, ready to head back home. Leopard saved from well. Residents in the western part of India called for help when they realized that an animal had accidentally fallen in a deep well. The professionals arrived at the scene in no time with proper equipment and a solid plan. Surprisingly, the crowd also joined them in their rescue, and when they lowered the metal cage into the well, a leopard peeked out from the corner. But it was too afraid to instantly accept the help. Soon, they realized it would not step out on its own. So a brave man risked his own life as he went in to lure the leopard into the safety box. But it was never going to be easy. With a few pokes, it came out, still confused. But no one was ready to give up hope, and their efforts bore fruit when the leopard finally stepped into the box and was taken to a proper place to be left in the wild. Horse rescued from lake.
Now to that rescue of two Clydesdale horses that broke out of a farm and fell through the ice in the middle of a frozen lake near Stroudsburg today.
This rescue crew is putting in all their efforts to save two horses that wandered off from their farm and had fallen into a lake in Hamilton Township. They started their mission by cutting through the thick sheet of ice with chainsaws and by using boats. Because of the size and weight of the horses, the rescue crew strategically built a trench to help them walk out of the lake. There, veterinarians helped dry them out and provided the much-needed medical assistance. And a thorough examination proved that both of them made it out of the frozen lake safe and sound.
In 54 years has this ever happened. We've never had an animal or a human lost in the lake, so this is a first.
Responsible film crew.
Well, look.
Oh my goodness. The first birds are definitely making their way out, which is brilliant.
Here's a film crew that set their work aside for a while and wore the hero cape. A BBC team was filming the penguins in Antarctica when they noticed that almost 50 of them, along with chicks, were trapped in a deep area. After some time, one of them managed to crawl out using its beak and the remaining strength in its muscles. But no one else had figured it out yet. Normally, photographers do not interfere in these natural situations, but this crew decided to do something for the penguins. They jumped in with shovels and began digging a shallow ramp, hoping that the penguins would use them to climb out. And soon they all figured it out and started coming towards safety.
Oh my goodness. So hopefully they'll just make their way back to the colony.
A small act of heroism saved a whole colony of penguins and gave their chicks a better chance at survival.
They realize that they may be able to save at least some of these birds simply by digging a few steps in the ice.
Deer rescue. These two farmers showed everyone what true humanity means. They were headed back to their fields when they found two bucks trapped in a barbed wire nearby. On top of that, both the animals were panicked as well. But nothing was stopping the kind-hearted farmers from saving them. They both put their own safety at risk. One farmer held the barbed wire with his bare hands, and the other began cutting it to free both of them. After their continuous efforts, one buck made a safe way back to the wild. And soon after that, the other one also managed to escape from the scene safe and sound. Elk rescue. Winters were a little too tough for this herd of 12 elks that accidentally fell through a thick sheet of ice formed at the frozen lake in Wyoming. Soon, a whole team of rescuers arrived at the scene to save these animals as quickly as possible. One of them started cutting through the ice while others were drilling holes and breaking it up to make it easier to save them. Once a clear path was created, it was time to start getting them out of the freezing water. Even though the animals were tired, no one was willing to give up on the elks and managed to pull them out one at a time.
Watch your feet, watch your feet.
After hours of continuous hard work, the complete herd was up and running towards their homes. Donkey and sewage. Residents of an Indian town found a donkey that had somehow made its way to an underground sewage system and was unable to walk out without help. A team of rescuers instantly arrived at the site to save the trapped animal. They first broke some part of the cemented floor to make a safe opening, and once they were sure it was enough, two of them went down with the help of a ladder to secure the donkey with some ropes. And with the combined efforts of the team, the donkey finally saw the light of day after spending hours in the dark sewage. It was then taken for medical assistance, where it regained its lost health and could happily play in the soil again. Cow saved from river. Here's a group of kind-hearted people who set aside their own fund to save another life. These people had been boating in an undisclosed lake when they spotted a cow swimming in the middle of the water body. Even though cows are strong swimmers, this one looked really tired, which is why the friends concluded that the animal was most probably lost and needed help. They got their boat near the cow, but it was too scared to accept the help. In a while, it seemed like the cow had understood that they were there to help and calmed down a bit. This is when they tied a rope to keep her nearby, and one of them even jumped in the water to support the cow on its way back. Finally, after a long time of floating, the animal managed to get near land where it was safe. Zebra saved from pit. Zebras can be good at defending themselves against predators, but sometimes even these animals need human help to walk out of a situation. Such an incident occurred in Kenya when a zebra made its way to a pit, and all of these people came together to rescue it. It's impressive how they all came prepared with a bulldozer and manpower to bring the poor animal out. And after their combined effort, the zebra finally managed to run off in the open fields just like before. Lion saved from well. In a remote area of India, an Asiatic lion slipped in a 60-foot deep well. And after spending a whole night soaked in water, it had lost hope of seeing the open ground. But as the day came, these kind-hearted and courageous people made their way to the well. to rescue the already endangered species. A whole team of rescuers and some perfectly equipped locals decided to help the animal, and with proper strategies, they managed to get the lion out of the well and into the safety cage from where the majestic lion could go back to ruling the savannas. Cow in sinkhole.
To be fair, we couldn't believe what had happened. A local farmer got in touch with us asking for help, and I wasn't sure quite what to expect.
Rescuers in County Durham, England were called to help a young bull that unknowingly fell into a sinkhole, and they didn't know what to expect at first. But it certainly was not in this form. The hole's opening at the top was too small for anyone to go down. So there was no other way than to tie a rope to the animal's leg and pull it out from the sinkhole. It was a first-of-its-kind rescue for Thomas himself, but luckily the animal was healthy and happy.
When we pulled it out, it was quite calm, it was happy, it was all right.
As it came back to the surface and met its friends to tell them the unbelievable ordeal that just happened.
My favorite part is that last bit at the end when all the other come up to him as if to say, are you okay? How did you get your head stuck in that hole? He, of course, is never going to tell us.
Orca rescue. Beachgoers in the town of La Quilta, Argentina, witnessed a grim sight when 7 orcas were found stranded on the beach. But the situation was soon averted when civilians, firefighters, and local biologists came together to save the animals. They all pushed the orca towards the water and tried to get it as far away in the ocean as possible. The mammal's majestic size had made the rescue a bit tough, but nothing was going to stop these determined people from getting them to safety. Finally, 6 of the orcas made a safe return to the ocean, leaving behind just 1 that couldn't survive long without water. Giraffe and pool. Giraffes look all majestic and mighty due to their long legs, but they become a hurdle for this one when it accidentally stepped into a pool and could not come out on its own. Luckily, all of these people were already present at the site and were able to pull out the giant with some ropes and collective manpower. The group clearly showed that anything is achievable with teamwork. Whale rescue. Our oceans have been mostly polluted by man-made items, and this has affected marine life most negatively. One of those negative impacts was observed by a group of divers who found a whole school of whale sharks trapped in a fishing net and sprung into action to get those majestic animals back to the vast ocean. They worked their way around the massive net, slowly loosening the whale sharks free. Together, the group of divers pulled the net down, while others gave the whale sharks a push to help them on their way. And once they were out, the majestic creatures stayed for a while to swim with their rescuers. Elephant in pond. Even though this muddy pond seems small to us, it was still too big for the 5-day-old calf to walk out of its own. The rescuers on the scene knew that they had to act swiftly before their mother would get agitated for her baby's safety. So they instantly tied a rope around the elephant and put in their collective efforts to get the baby out of the pond. With teamwork and determination, the rescuers managed to get the baby out on time and left the area so that the mother could easily come for it. They both look so happy to be together again. Hunter with a heart.
Oh my God. There was a rope swing for like the creek behind that.
There are a lot of mixed views about hunters, but these 3 hunters in Ohio prove that they have a true bond with animals. The group has been searching the forest when they found a deer trapped in a rope swing from its antlers. It tried to free itself but needed human help to return to the wild. The hunters came up with a strategy to rescue the animal. They first tried it out. And luckily, one of them had been a wrestler as well, so he used the tight waist trick to hold the deer in place, and then they swiftly cut the rope holding it back. Within seconds, the animal was free and ran to the forest where it belonged.
Yep. Get the knife, get the knife.
Wow.
Heroic villagers. In November 2017, a baby elephant had fallen into a deep pit in Kerala, India. No matter how hard it tried, the baby could not make it out on its own. Villagers began to gather around as well as they heard the news of the rescue happening in their area. The saviors had come up with an effective plan to free the calf as they brought an excavator to dig out some of the soil around it and made a ramp that the elephant could use to walk out of the pit. Once the baby climbed out, all the bystanders witnessed an emotional reunion of the elephant family. And then, an unexpected thing happened when the mother raised her trunk to thank the courageous people. This shows that they understand more than we think they do. Bear rescue. Locals of Perry Township, Pennsylvania, noticed a black bear with a bucket on its head and informed the authorities to get some help, but they could not offer any assistance as the animal was not causing any harm to anyone. So the residents took matters into their own hands and decided to help the animals themselves. They found the bear and tried to hold him down to remove the bucket. But it was not that easy, as the animal was already confused and defended itself. After struggling for a while, they finally managed to get it under control and remove the bucket, which enabled it to live freely in the jungle.
Yeah, buddy! Woo!
Impala rescue. An impala at the Zimbabwe National Park had mistakenly gotten in a sticky situation when it was trapped in mud, but it still had hope for survival because the animal rescue team was soon contacted and sent to the scene. The rescuer tied a rope to his waist and rushed towards the impala while clawing his way through the mud. Once he got the impala, he tied a rope around its hooves to easily get the animal back to safety, where it drank some water and regained the strength to run freely. Goats in mountains.
4 goats trapped on a mountain ledge. They were stranded there for 2 weeks. It's a long time.
Concerned neighbors in Hamilton County called for help when they realized the goats could not get off the ledge themselves.
The crews used ropes to bring in the goats to safety.
Emergency crews immediately got to the scene and started bringing them down using ropes and pulley systems. On another instance in a mountain near Lago di Malacasi, some goats had gotten to a point where they were not supposed to be. Luckily, a team of rescuers reached the herd that was stuck on a 2,000-meter high cliff. Just look at that rocky terrain. It's amazing how they were willing to perform a rescue mission here. The highly trained team risked their own lives and successfully brought the goats back on the ground. Frozen red deer. Local hunters in Siberia proved their love for wildlife when they stepped up to save a red deer struggling in the cold waters of Barguzin near Ulan-Ude. The 4 men worked together to cut a path out for the deer and then pulled it out of the river after continuous efforts that took more than 4 hours. But their work was not done yet. They noticed that the animal had gotten tired, so they lit a fire on the side to provide some much-needed warmth. Later, the group took the animal to a local garage where it was nicely fed and taken care of. Once it had regained enough strength to get back into the wild, the group released the deer, which ran gratefully back into the forest. Hanging goat. I'm not sure how this goat got in this position, but it clearly shows how these animals always end up in odd places. The video was filmed in Greece and showed a group of kind-hearted locals trying to rescue a goat dangling from its horns. They planned the rescue by tying the hives with a rope and got the animals close to themselves on the mountain. From there on, it was all smooth sailing for the goat that made a safe return home. Elephant calf rescued. A rescue team received calls regarding a young elephant that had gotten stuck in a mud pit nearby. And when they arrived at the scene, they found it's a mother still guarding her baby. They quickly sprung into action as they got their safety ropes out and tied them around the elephant's body.
I'm just waiting for Robert to tell me when to go.
Even though it was a young one, the rescue was still a huge challenge that took the team's utmost effort and patience. After pulling it out with their Jeep and by themselves for a long time, the rescuers were finally able to reunite the elephant with its family. Just look how happy they are to be together again. Hikers save moose.
Got her. I gotcha.
2 kayakers were enjoying their time at the Sheep River in Canada, and their experience took an unexpected turn when they saw a young moose moving in the water. The duo swiftly sprung into action as one of them held the rope and the other went against the water flow to catch the moose. Luckily, they were able to grab the animal in time and get it to safety on the side of the river.
I got ya.
But it didn't seem to leave their rescuer's side even after that.
Hey, buddy. It's okay. It's okay, bud.
With a little motivational push from their side, the moose gathered enough courage to make its way back to its mother. Buffalo rescue. A group of people were enjoying their safari tour in the Kruger National Park when they witnessed a wholesome scene of rangers rescuing a whole family of buffaloes that had gotten stuck in the mud. The men pulled out the juvenile with their own hands. But the bigger members needed a lot more effort than that. The rangers tied ropes to their horns and pulled the buffaloes out with the help of their vehicles. And then they made their way freely running back to their home like nothing had happened before. Horse rescue. I'm not sure how, but this horse managed to get stuck between 2 trees and had no way of escaping from there without any help. Luckily, it was spotted on time by 2 kind-hearted Samaritans who decided to give the animal some time and effort to get back home. They first cut one of the trees, and once it was down, nothing was stopping the horse from embracing its freedom. Camel found in well. Rescuers in Jikta village of Rajasthan came across a challenging rescue when they received the news of a camel that had accidentally made its way in a 40 feet deep well. The challenge arose because the camel was too heavy and big to be easily rescued. One of the team members offered to be lowered into the well with a harness and tied the sturdy rope to the animal. And within no time, the camel was brought to safety with the crane. It's amazing how these people are out there to put their lives on the line for others' safety. Moose in frozen lake.
For about 2 hours off the north shore of Loon Lake, you could only see his huge head and paddles.
A young moose had found itself in a chilly ordeal when it got trapped in the icy Loon Lake near Spokane, Washington. With only its majestic head and antlers visible, the 2-year-old bull became the center of an extraordinary rescue mission. The rescuers came together in a heartwarming display of teamwork and determination to perform a critical rescue mission.
Dan, make a lot of noise with the canoe.
They used every possible tool from oars to chainsaws. Despite the challenges, the team worked with gentle precision, ensuring the safety of both the moose and themselves.
We wanted to make sure that it was done safely and that we didn't end up with a cold water rescue out here.
And then the moose was finally freed and ready to get back to its wild house.
Back off. Okay. Out of the way.
Bear in bucket. A bear cub was found with its head stuck in a bucket by some kind-hearted Samaritans in a remote area of China. They all teamed up to get the animal free from its trap, but failed on their first try. They still tried again, and this time the bucket came off in just a few seconds, with the bear finally running around freely. Zebra rescued. Last year in Zambia, a zebra got the attention of tourists as it was found trapped in wires. Without wasting a moment, they all collectively stayed by the animal and gathered some locals to help them perform the much-needed rescue. One of the tourists held the zebra in one place to keep it calm, while the locals and tour guide began cutting the wire. But the rescue was not so easy, as the animal was still scared. The kind-hearted men still did not give up and managed to get it free from the wire. The zebra, after getting free quickly, fled back to its wildlife. Shark rescue.
We gotta take care of it.
Rescuing wildlife with bare hands is a courageous undertaking. Let me share another incredible moment where a casual beach picnic turned into a rescue mission after a great white decided to make an appearance on the beach. Curious beachgoers gathered around Cape Cod to help get the stranded shark back into the ocean. Some of them dug out a proper area for its safe return to the water, while others tied a rope to its tail and pulled it together to save the predator's life. As a result of their collective effort, the animal, struggling for life, was able to swim back and enjoy its blue habitat. Camel in snow. In a heartwarming tale of survival, CCTV captured an extraordinary rescue in a snowstorm. A rescue team, initially aiding a herd of horses, stumbled upon a camel buried in snow. Remarkably, the camel remained calm even after being trapped and let out a yelp during its rescue. In a gesture of kindness, a local farmer offered shelter, nurturing the resilient creature back to health. Miraculously, the animal was unharmed and was expected to fully recover in just 2 to 3 days. Brave rescuers. Dora the donkey had taken up a different kind of adventure when she accidentally fell into a deep pit. Fortunately, it was spotted by a group of courageous people who stepped in for a heroic rescue. They created a pulley-like system to pull the animal out in a safe manner. After an effort of several hours, Dora was out. The animal and the whole team took a sigh of relief once they had finally succeeded in their mission. Lion from sea. Locals of India's Gujarat state were shocked to witness a lion stuck at the shore. The already confused animal got so overwhelmed by the crowd that it jumped into the sea, trying to make its way back home. According to the officials, the rescue teams acted swiftly and were able to get the lion back to safety, from where it was tranquilized and taken to a proper health facility, where it got the proper care and attention to regain its health. Ox rescue. Goats aren't the only ones that get in unexpected places. This ox also surprisingly managed to fit in the sewage tank. This incident took place in India, and residents immediately called for help to get the animal out of the normal world again. A kind-hearted Samaritan stepped forward and started their mission by tying a rope around the ox firmly, and then it was hooked with a crane to bring it out. And within no time, the ox was roaming in the streets freely. It's time for today's open discussion. Residents of London heard the news that an animal needed their help for a heroic rescue, and, being good Samaritans, they all rushed to the scene, only to find out this mysterious creature lying in front of them. Now, it was not some animal in need of help, but what was it? Some called it a fallen angel who had come to the world to restore balance. The truth was later revealed, and it was an art piece by an artist from Beijing. The sculpture was made of silica gel, fiberglass, and stainless steel to make it look as realistic as possible. The exact reason for this installation was not clear, But if you have any clue about it, share it with us in the comments. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.